And welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh. I'm going to be doing the first part of our show, the unofficial heavy music block here, kind of solo for a while until Vega shows up. He's got another project going on for a class that's running a little late. That's perfectly fine, but I got you. But how are we doing today, Ames? I mean, honestly, it's been a week. Like, for me, mostly where I work right now because of so many staff shortages because of this little pandemic that we're still living in. They've been having us work a lot of overtime, so I am not going to lie, folks. I am tired. I'm being currently propped up by some energy drinks, and by that I mean quite a few energy drinks. But thankfully, I mean, the weekend's coming up. It's nice. A lot of the snow that we got yesterday is melting away, thankfully, because I did not want to shovel all of that again. But anyways, I just wanted to jump on here, do a quick intro, and let's go ahead and bring it back to the music here on AIM Student Radio. So we're just going to let some ads play. Got to make some money after all. Followed then by Blow Me Away by Breaking Benjamin, Satellite by Rise Against, and Live to Rise by Soundgarden. This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh here, still just running a little bit solo here on the unofficial heavy music block. Just waiting for Vega to show up whenever that may be. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and actually get a quick check here of your weather. So right now in Loveland, it is currently 34 degrees with a low tonight of 18. Windsor, we're looking at 33 degrees with a low of 17. Fort Lupton, we're also looking at 33 degrees with a low of 17. And here in Greeley, we have 33 degrees with a low of 14, which is going to be a little chillier here tonight. And also, let's go ahead and look at the toilet paper. So just as a quick reminder, tomorrow is Conversation Day, February 18th. There are no day or evening classes. Also, looks like we have the Black History Month virtual G Party game that is going on February 21st from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. virtually via Zoom. Please visit events.aims.edu to obtain the link, and you can always find the toilet paper in your nearest restroom. Also, along with, actual toilet paper, because, we kind of need that. Anybody remember at the beginning of this little pandemic that we're in, how toilet paper became such a scarcity? Yeah, I don't want to return to those times. I don't know about anybody else. But anyways, a little quick segue here. I got the stick right now. It's my time, so I'm going to use it. Ooh, that could have gone a lot better. But anywho's, I don't know about anybody else. I'm just ready for the weekend right now. I just want to relax, unwind. It's going to feel weird, honestly, because there's no football on. So I'm just like, what else am I going to do on Sunday, Like, that was most of my routine for this past NFL season. Sunday, obviously, being a diehard Broncos fan, I watch them whatever time they're playing or whatever day they're playing. But I'm also the guy that will sit on my couch all day and watch football all day and night. That's just who I am. But honestly, I watch a lot of stuff, and you'll probably hear it throughout the show. I watch a lot of everything: movies, TV shows, sporting events. What can I say? I don't have a life. I fill it with a lot of media. But anyways, let's go ahead and bring it back to the music here on AIM Student Radio with, of course, my personal little entrance theme, Cult of Personality by Living Color, AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh here on the heavy music on the unofficial heavy music block. Look at me. I was about to make it official there. Do I have that kind of power? Probably not. No. At least not just yet. But anyways, we got Vega here starting to get ready in the booth. But before we do that, I just wanted to give a little teaser to what our show is going to be today. So the little, I guess you could say, assignment that Vega and I worked on here was basically just a handful of songs, about 5 or so, and a couple of honorable mentions for songs that just get you pumped up. Songs that just get you ready to go, feeling like I do right now, like you can just run through a wall. Or maybe even more. Maybe I'll run through the window. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. Don't worry. I'm not going to do that.
I don't believe Ames would cover it if you ran through the window, and you'd probably end up having a bit more debt. It's not like if you got hit by a campus bus, you get free tuition.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's anything like that. But also, looking at how thick these windows are, I mean, I'm a big guy, but I'm not going through those windows.
I don't know, man. Your skull's pretty thick.
I mean, it is, but
And there's not a lot of padding up there.
true. But it's
I think
also
you could
taken
do
a
it.
lot of hard hits over the years. I don't think it'll survive one of those.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. But anyways, before we did that, I just wanted to mention I threw Don't Fear the Reaper back in just because it did cut off at the top of the hour, and I'm not going to lie. My OCD was going off the rails. I was like, no. We're going to hear this whole song. It's a classic. But let's go ahead and actually break it back down to the music here with Up All Night by Blink-182. And honestly, that album, the Neighborhoods album back in 2011, obviously a lot of people loved the newer material that they released with Matt Skiba, whereas this was the first album that they did when they reunited, quote unquote. But honestly, I felt for a while like I was like one of the very few people that actually really enjoyed the album, because a lot of my other friends that heard it, they were like, nah, it's not really me. It's got more of an Angels and Airwaves vibe. Whereas I was just like, no, you know what? I like this era of Blink. I saw it on the station and I'm like, you know what? It's going to get on the air. So here we go. Up All Night, Blink-182, AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be.
And we're back here on AIM Student Radio. That was some new Avril Lavigne, and this is apparently the way radio should be. I'm V, and I'm not dead yet, although we're getting there. I'm here with Josh, and we're talking about our hype songs or entrance music or whatever. I think we both talked about it differently. So, Josh, we're going to just hit our honorable mentions quick, so how about you hit me with one? I think we both have two.
Yes, we do. We both have two. I literally, Spotify just crashed on me.
Are you on your mic at all, buddy?
I am on the mic.
I'm not on the board. I can't hear you. So I don't know if you're actually in the mic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely in. Oh, there I am. Ha, 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 ha. So, ladies and gentlemen, just give me a moment here.
Ladies and germs.
Ha 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 ha. So for my honorable mentions, there are actually two. Well, one's an orchestral piece, and the other one is also. They're both related to Spider-Man, ironically. So one of them that I put in as an honorable mention is actually the main titles for the first Spider-Man movie, the first Tobey Maguire one. Just because, like, that movie, like, watching it as a kid so many times and wearing out that VHS tape, it always just got me pumped. It's like, all right, we're going to go on an adventure. With the other one being Hero by Chad Kroeger featuring Josie Scott, which plays during the end credits of Spider-Man. And also was just kind of one of those songs that just always kind of got me pumped. Like, no joke, when I bought the PS4 Spider-Man game, and they released as free DLC the Tobey Maguire suit that you could change your Spider-Man into. I literally decided one night, I changed my Peter into the suit. I went from one edge to the map to the other, but I had that song playing in the background, and it was the coolest thing, at least for me. I was just like, okay, I'm blown away. This was worth the cost of the game alone.
Has anyone ever told you you're a nerd?
Yes, every day.
Also, what is Chad Kroeger? He does other stuff. I've heard his name.
He's the lead singer of Nickelback.
Of course.
And he, for a while, was actually married to Avril Lavigne.
Topical. My two song picks are arguably much better. First honorable mention is Rip and Tear from the 2016 Doom soundtrack.
Yes.
Mick Gordon. The whole soundtrack was great, but the song in particular, it gets you ready to kill some demons on Mars with a shotgun. I don't listen to that soundtrack as much as I probably should, but it still felt like mentioning. And the next one is Out of the Black by Royal Blood. I don't consider this as much a hype song, but it hypes me up when I'm playing it. Like if I play it on bass, because that's what Mike Kerr, the lead instrumentalist, plays. It is such a hype song just to play on bass. It's fast, and you're hitting the strings really hard, and it just goes, and I love it. It's got a lot of energy. It's also just a good, fast hype song. So that was my picks. I strayed into nerddom slightly with some Doom music.
See, my influence is spreading.
But let's be honest, how nerdy is Doom?
Ew, that's actually a good question, because
It
How do I
is
say
kind of a
this?
Chad game.
It is kind of a Chad game, but also it's been so popular throughout the years.
We'll
But
say I
all-
went nerdy. Screw it. I went
yeah,
nerdy.
we
Yeah.
went nerdy.
I've got my audio bag here, and that alone makes me nerdy.
Yes.
Shall we get back into the music then? We gave our honorable mentions.
Yes, let's go ahead and get back to the music here on Ames Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to Ames Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh, here with V, continuing our discussion on the unofficial heavy music block of songs that get us pumped up.
Oh, yes, hype songs, entrance songs, whatever. There's plenty of them. I guess you kicked it off last time, so I'll kick it off this time. These are our official playlists. The first one I've got is the Heretic Anthem by Slipknot off of the Iowa album. In truth, there's so many Iowa album songs that could be on here, but the Heretic Anthem just felt like it fit the best.
Yeah, I was going to say, very true. You could practically throw that whole album on there.
I know there's one song on there that I was like, oh, this would be my first, but I can't say the title on air. You know which one I'm talking about.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think aside from like the very intro, Skin Ticket, and the actual title track, every other song on there just goes really hard and aggressive.
It does.
Like metabolic.
Oh, yeah.
But my official pick is the Heretic Anthem, because if you're 555, then I'm 666.
Oh, yeah. No, when I went to Knotfest a couple of years ago in Denver, when he just Corey just started introducing that, and the crowd ate it up. It was that whole show was just glorious.
I haven't seen them live yet, but I've seen plenty of live video, and that song just looks like it hits so hard live.
Oh yeah, no, and the intro, and usually when they start, they play the one of the songs that we cannot say the title of.
People, that one?
Yes, People. And the crowd just goes insane off of that one too. Like I don't know if I still have the video on my phone, but when they did it here in Denver, instant mosh pit. They just came out, started playing. The crowd just went berserk.
That's the thing about the Iowa album and that's kind of going to be a trend with mine. Is a lot of my official songs, they are selections, but like the entire albums could really be their own hype thing. Like if I need to get ready to fight or whatever. I've never actually fought someone, but like if I need to hype myself up to be violent or to fight or like to chop wood or something, Heretic Anthem or just almost anything off of Iowa. Generally a lot of Slipknot stuff, but specifically Iowa. That album is so angry, so aggressive, and it looks like we might be getting more of it. They just released the Chapeltown Rag video,
and that was something else. I was like, whoa!
Because I know the single came out a little while ago, and
it was like in November, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, and it's a great single. Sounds like we're getting more Iowa. Rip. We're sorry, rip. For those not around, a couple just dropped some salads, I believe, and we're sorry.
Sorry about that. But anyways, let me go ahead and segue here.
What's your song?
Into our next song. So I ended up picking one off of, you guessed it, a video game. So I ended up doing 115, which was on Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
No,
or 1. It was on 1. Never mind.
It was the Kino song.
It was the Kino song. And honestly, that one, I am guilty of this. I am the guy who will be playing any of the zombies maps on there, not just Kino, but any of them. And if I feel like I just need to get myself pumped up, especially in the later rounds when it just gets ludicrous, I will throw that song in on my I'll just throw that like on my Google Home speaker, and I'll just start blasting it. And I swear, for those few moments, I'm indestructible when I play
bro.
that song.
You gotta find the teddy bears or whatever
You
for
do.
the Easter egg.
It's like, is that all the pieces? That's the last piece.
If I'm playing Kino, then it's where's the bears? Come on,
Yep.
mine. It's always like, I forget where this last one is. Or no, I think actually on Kino, is it bears or is it meteorites? Because it's bears or meteors.
I want to say meteors.
I know I think it's meteors actually, because I know on Origins it's also meteors.
Yeah,
and that's also a good hype song.
That it is.
Speaking of new albums, I don't know when this is supposed to come out, because it was supposed to come out last year in autumn, but there were a bunch of delays. But Hurt Records, which is a record company out of UK, is doing a Call of Duty Zombies album. They're covering all the songs. They're doing like full production stuff because for the games there was more of a time crunch. There was less budget, and so a lot of it was either pre-programmed or they just copy and pasted. They are re-recording. They're redoing a few parts, on especially some of the older ones that weren't as fleshed out.
Yeah,
but they're doing like full band, live drums, live bass, live everything.
Yeah,
and I was following the guy on Patreon for a bit and watching some of the production videos. It's gonna be awesome. You could hear some of the stuff. I don't know when it comes out though. Is the only thing. It's supposed to be free too.
Cool.
I don't know when it comes out. Is the only thing, but it is coming supposedly.
Okay. Yeah, no, because that would be awesome. Because actually, when I was looking on my Spotify here, when it comes to a lot of the songs, they did remaster some of them.
Yeah.
Because like even 115, like there's the original and then there's a remastered version where I was like, okay.
No, these are like, as a studio nerd, it's a really crazy studio as well. Like they're recording like 192 kilohertz.
Oh.
They might be doing 32-bit float or they're doing 24. I'm not sure on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but they're using like top of the line gear.
So it's gonna be a full on mix.
Oh, and the main guy, I guess, producer, he's a perfectionist, like in almost the worst way in some ways. So yeah, the albums are coming and they're gonna be heavy. Like I can show you some of the stuff after this. So but I think hype music, I think we should probably get back to it, though. We're coming up on top of the hour.
We are coming up on the top of the hour here, but stay tuned with us on the unofficial heavy music block. This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be.
Hello, mortals, and welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. That was The Hills remix by The Weeknd with Eminem, I believe. I can't read the TVs. I'm in the bad seat again.
Keyword again.
Hey, this is the best seat, and also makes it easier for you to run the board because you have trouble hitting the buttons.
Very true, very true. I am not going to hide that.
Oh, your transitions are getting better, though.
I'm getting there.
And speaking of transitions, I'm going to transition over to hype music. That's what we're talking about. We each made a playlist of like our number one hype songs. And we just got the toilet paper delivered as well. Awesome. Brilliant. We'll be reading that soon. But anyway, Josh, last time you talked about 115, so what's up next?
So the next one, also tying into my love of being a huge fan of wrestling, is The Game, which is by Motorhead, also known to many wrestling fans as Triple H's theme song when he walks out to the ring. He's been using it now like almost 30 years at this point. Motorhead commissioned it specifically for him, and for a lot of wrestling fans, like myself included, that was actually my introduction to Motorhead. And back when Lemmy was alive, rest his soul.
Yeah, rip.
He actually did, at a couple of WrestleMania events, he actually did play the song live as Triple H was making his way to the ring. He also did a couple other songs for him throughout his career. He did King of Kings, which was also a great one. And then for a while, Triple H had his own little group of basically evil wrestlers called Evolution, and they had a song called Line in the Sand, which was also recorded by Motorhead. But that was really kind of like my introduction to them. And even to this day, even though it's not like a song, how do I say this? It's not a song that I can really use because obviously the gimmick belongs to someone else. But like I hear it, if I'm going into like a situation where I'm really nervous about something, because I have a tendency, especially if I don't know a lot of people, like I won't be awkward, but I'll be really quiet because I just don't know what to say. But like in my head, or even if I'm like in the car driving to this place, I'll have the song just going on a loop just to kind of like get myself hyped up and be like, no, like don't be shy, like this is your time, this is your moment, you got this, that kind of thing.
A personal hype song.
A personal hype song, there we go.
It was really chunky when you showed it to me just now. Like that was a chunky riff, and it was surprisingly similar to the intro to mine.
Yeah, that was
very similar.
Very, very similar.
I don't know if mine's a wrestling song. I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
I don't watch wrestling because I have a life. Anyway, my song is Molotov by OTEP. It is a protest song, a song about activism. It's a very strongly worded song. I'm not going to go into any of the lyrics, but it's very political in nature, as is a lot of things that OTEP does. But this song especially came out 2018. I should have checked this beforehand, but the album came out in 2018. Like deep Trump presidency type stuff, when there was kind of a lot of stuff happening.
A lot of movement in the streets, essentially.
Yeah, and just say what you will about the presidency, but it was controversial at best. I'm not going to make any comments on policies or anything. That's not my place. I'm a stupid radio DJ. But yeah, Molotov by OTEP, and especially 2020 when all that stuff was going down, and I needed an outlet because I was angry about a lot of stuff. Still kind of am, but I needed some sort of outlet, and it's a good song to punch something.
There we go.
You're you need to punch a pillow or a punching bag or something. It's that song, and it's made to be kind of like that, a hype up protest song, and it doesn't pull any punches lyrically either. So I like that stuff. I like it when it's all harsh.
There we go.
And it is chunky as well.
That it is, and sometimes you just kind of need that, like another band I could think like that.
Rage.
Obviously, Rage Against the Machine. Even to this day, like you hear a lot of their songs. Like whenever there's a protest movement, like back in 2020 when a lot of stuff was happening, there was a lot of Rage being played. Well, some on the radio, but like even just people like in their cars. Like I've actually remember seeing videos of certain protests. And people were blasting Rage songs.
And you bring a Bluetooth speaker or whatever, and it's power, especially because a lot of those bands, like Rage is a protest band, OTEP's a protest band. Another one I've got later on my list, Fever 333. They're protest bands. They're activism, like activist music, where it is heavy and it's made to talk about political issues. It's very punk-esque in nature in that way, although I wouldn't call any of these guys necessarily punk in genre. Maybe in style and lyricism, but not in genre.
Not in genre.
Generally fall into hard rock or metal. And that's nitpicking, though. And I don't know, and this is another album as well. Like there's so many songs on the album that I could use as a hype song if you're trying to get yourself hyped up. And for me, I was like, I'm gonna fight someone. That was what I was thinking of for the hype song. Is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna fight someone. I don't know why I would fight someone, because I'm generally not violent, despite a lot of the jokes I make.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, like when I have my moments when I just kind of have to get into the zone. Like obviously with the Motorhead song, like I'll try to picture myself because it's always worked for me, even though I know it'll never happen, just because I don't have the physical conditioning for it, and plus two, with several injuries on my body, there's just no way it would happen. But I always try to picture it as like, okay, I'm in the main event of a WrestleMania or of any huge wrestling show. There's 80,000 people in the stands. I got the world title around my waist. There's pyro. There's lasers. Everyone is looking at me in that moment. And it's like, got to get my game face on. I can't go to the ring looking, scared, half to death. I gotta not necessarily have a scalp, but gotta have the game face on. It's like, no, I'm going to the ring. I'm gonna go do my thing here.
Which is fitting, especially because so far you've picked out a lot of video game music or like movie music or wrestling music, which is interesting. Do we want to hit another song off of each of our lists, or do we want to get back to actual music and not just talking about it like a bunch of idiots?
Let's go ahead and actually bring it back to the music here on AIM Student Radio after just a couple of ads. I mean, we got to do something else on this station, but we're bringing it back with Still DRE by the one and only Dr. Dre, still hot off the heels of that amazing halftime show. This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh here with Vega, and what you just heard was nothing but a G thing, baby, by the one and only Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Anyways, V, shall we?
We shall. We're talking about hype music, music that we'd listen to hype us up for a fight, for a wrestling match, entrance music, all that kind of stuff. I just lost my train of thought, but I guess starting off, I'm gonna pull a Josh. I'm gonna talk about more video game music, although slightly different because we've been kind of on the heavier side of things, talking about like protest music or Motorhead, all that kind of stuff. That it's a lot of guitars. I'm gonna say my next song is "The Baddest," all caps, by KDA. There's a whole list. There's KDA, G Idol, Wolf Attila, B Miller, and League of Legends. Because this is a song from the K-pop band, which is canonically in League of Legends. I don't play League. The closest I got was watching Arcane. But I like a lot of the KDA music. It kind of really got me into production-heavy music. And just, it's fun to listen to. And I wanted to throw something a little less angry in. Like, this is just a good, like, hype song. It's upbeat. It's got a heavy lower beat. It just goes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because obviously, different strokes for different folks. Like, I know, like, I have some friends of mine that for them to get pumped up, like, they'll listen to, like, a K-pop song, or even, like, I know one that she'll listen to, like, Katy Perry, and that gets her pumped up. Whereas, like, for me, I know that I tend to just kind of be, like, a little bit more on the heavier side. Like, I need, the loud guitars, like the heavy beats, even if it's a rap beat, I need it to just, like, or it has to have, like, that sweeping orchestral background, just that huge kind of, like, almost like a big fight feel. It's like, okay, it's showtime. We're doing this.
Yeah, I'd say this song is definitely one that's more of a hype up for, like, a happy thing. Like, hey, you're going to be amicable today.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, last time with the Molotov song, it's like, no, you're getting ready to fight someone. You're getting ready to, like, knock teeth or something. I don't know. I don't fight people. I'm actually very nonviolent, surprisingly. I joke about it a lot, but that's because I think it's funny. Yeah, the only person I would actually probably fight is Josh.
Keyword, try.
No, succeed.
No. No. But anywho, so now that
moving on.
Let's see here. I mean, I don't know. We might have an all-out brawl in the studio. Who knows? But anywho,
we'll mic it up. We'll do it live on air.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
let's see here.
Throw one of yours out.
With mine, for one of mine is also "This Fire" by Killswitch Engage, which ironically also a wrestling song.
That's not ironic. That's just you.
That is just me. But CM Punk, one of my favorite wrestlers ever, also used this song during like the early part of his career, like in the early 2000s. Up until about 2011, he used this, and that's where I ended up hearing it originally. Was just hearing the song used whenever he came out to the ring, and ever since then I've really liked it because it gets you kind of pumped, just like lyrically it's like, this day is mine, no one is going to take this from me, which honestly, like, if you're a wrestler or you're just striving to like hit that next level and nothing's going to stop you, I mean, that's just like the perfect hype song for it.
Yeah, I'll say I don't watch any wrestling. I don't know anything about wrestling besides you have Macho Man and his Slim Jims.
Oh, yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan's, I don't believe, a good person. I don't know, though.
I was going to say,
allegedly,
we don't talk about
I don't
Hogan.
know. I don't know anything. I don't pay attention to this crap. Crap in the nicest way of the word. Yeah, but I get the hype music for that. I'm trying to think, like, Judas by Fozzy.
Yes.
That's some wrestling stuff.
Yeah, that's the music that Jericho himself actually uses when he goes to the ring, and it's actually really cool because over the last couple of years, fans have gotten into the trend to sing along with the song as it's playing, and Jericho's actually made a habit of walking to the ring a little bit slower, precisely so there's more time on air and you can hear more people singing it. Like when I went to a wrestling show that he was at in Denver back early March 2020, before the pandemic really hit, it was played, he came out to the ring, and we were all singing, screaming at the top of our lungs. Like, I was screaming a lot overall during that show. Definitely came home with a sore throat that night.
I'm going to call you a nerd again. Nerd. Moving on to something a tad different. This is, I wouldn't necessarily call it a hype song except for one part. It's off the first Three Teeth album, which is just straight up industrial. Like their sound has evolved a lot as they've moved on, But the first album, just self-titled Three Teeth, is very much that slow, straight-up, like Nine Inch Nails-y industrial. It's definitely got its own sound. But like that's the album that like got them to tour with Tool, because they opened for Tool after that album. But the song Dust, it's a kind of slow, steady beat, which I like, and then it drops off into this kind of like choral bridge.
Yeah.
And then you've got this build that's just like you get a lot of just suddenly crazy screaming, and it, I can't do it, I won't do it, and it's distorted, and if you're wearing headphones, it's going back and forth, and it's on all your sides, and especially if you're listening really high quality, like on some good speakers or something.
Yes, we have Vega over here with the Tidal subscription and
listen, it's
the
good.
giant audio bag.
I use that for recording stuff.
No, I know.
Loser.
Oi.
But yeah, just because I don't spend $80 on shoes every week.
Whoa. It's not every week, okay?
Fine, every other week.
Thank you.
But yeah, I like my industrial stuff, and this build specifically, it's like the perfect amount of hype to just get crazy, I guess. Like, I don't know. I was just listening to the album last night. It's like, oh, I'm throwing this song on, and I swapped one out. I forget what it even was, which says a lot. But yeah, I think you were going to throw in one more before we hit back to the music, because
I was, and ironically, it's also the next one that we have playing in the queue. So this one's also wrestling related. It's the song that CM Punk has been using since 2011 to when he walks to the ring, and naturally the crowd also goes berserk whenever this is playing. So, and I'm also using it here on the station, so it's kind of my personal entrance music as well. So we got Cult of Personality by Living Color here on Ames Student Radio, the way radio should be.
Joshua, you're grounded. And we're back here on Ames Student Radio. I'm V, and Josh is still grounded because we decided that there was no Billy to be played, at least by you. You weren't supposed to put it in, but no, you got Cult of Personality a second time and Billy. So go to your corner. After you do the weather, you go to your corner. Got it?
Fine.
Thank you.
But anyways, now here with a quick check of your weather. Here we are in Loveland. We have 31 degrees with a low of 18. Windsor, 30 degrees with a low of 17. Fort Lupton, 26 with a low of 17.
Nippy.
With finally the home base here in Greeley at 29 degrees with a low of 14.
Fun. That'll be a nice night. I'm not working tonight, thankfully. I was working last night, and the roads were kind of scary.
That they were. Well, when I went to the gym this morning, they were still pretty scary. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I am so glad I have an SUV with semi-decent tires.
Same.
They're ATs, so not quite snow tires, but they still do a decent enough job.
They do a decent job unless you get, like way higher up in the snow totals, then it's like, uh-oh.
I still did spin around at least once accidentally. It's like, oh, we're facing the other way now. Anyway, we're going to hit some toilet paper quick. Josh is going to go to his corner. Coming up, we've got the LGBTQ plus student affinity group. So the next meeting for that is February 23rd from 4 to 5 p.m. Gatherings fall at 4 p.m. on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month. And that's in the CDI to build community and a network of peer-to-peer support through the LGBTQ student affinity group. And again, that is 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month from 4 to 5 p.m. And so, yeah, that next meeting is February 23rd, and the info is, of course, on your toilet paper. I'm watching Josh lick a 9-volt battery for some reason. Josh, I'm trying to focus. This is important news.
Well, you put me in the corner, so I have to entertain myself.
The corner's the point of the corner, whatever. Moving on. February 22nd, we've got Writers Community Workshop, how to write a winning scholarship essay. I know a lot of people are still doing stuff, trying to get scholarships, which, hey, good. Want to learn better how to write an essay or think you could use some help? February 22nd, 4 to 4:45 p.m., and that's on Zoom with the link being on the toilet paper, which is in your local restroom. And you can, of course, find that online if need be. Also, on February 21st, we've got Black History Month at the CDI. They're throwing up episodes of the Amends series. These are all get shown from 5 to 6:30 in the Student Commons Room 120 here in Greeley campus. And that next episode, which is episode 2, gets shown February 21st. So definitely sounds like that'd be interesting. Tomorrow, of course, is Conversation Day. We don't have any classes. Campus is closed, maybe. Don't quote me on that. That's allegedly. Also, the Ames Community Theater Group Spring production auditions are Saturday, February 26th at 3 p.m. in the theater here in Beatty. And you can visit events.ames.edu for more information and to sign up. And there's plenty more stuff, but, we can talk about that some other time. I say we get back to the music, hopefully with some good stuff. I'll make sure we don't get any more Billy. I'll try to. I'm, of course, not running the desk. So, Josh, are you going to take us back in? What's next?
Let's go ahead and bring it back to the music here on Ames Student Radio with some Kings of Leon. Ames Student Radio, the way radio should be. And welcome back to Ames Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm Josh, here with V. And I totally just butchered that.
Yeah, you cut off that last piano note. Also, I was supposed to do the intro.
I know. I was like, oh, no.
Joshy dearest, do you need a nap?
If anything, I need like a 6-pack of energy drinks.
Joshy washy?
No.
This is Ames Student Radio. Ooh woo.
No.
The way radio should be. We're talking about hype music. Music for if you're going to get into a fight. Music if you're going into a wrestling ring. Music if you just need to, pep yourself up for the day, maybe. So I think we've each got one song left, and then we're going to rate each other's playlists. So Joshua.
Yes.
Joshy Washy.
Oh,
what is your final song, and will I approve?
I mean, I hope so, but I have a feeling that the whole Joshy Washy thing is probably just not going to go away anymore, so I'm terrified right now.
It depends on how I'm feeling about you.
Oh, boy.
I like to use psychological violence rather than physical violence.
Oh, no.
Yeah, roll for psychic damage.
No D&D references. I already have plenty
That's
enough
not
of
even
those.
D&D. That's
I
just
still have to deal with enough of that in a day.
That's just 2TRPG.
Okay, so my last song that I was going to mention here, I did switch it up a little bit on this one. For once, it's actually not related to either movies or wrestling or video games. Surprisingly. So I ended up throwing in here Till I Collapse by Eminem featuring Nate Dogg. Just a classic Eminem track. And that one I always tended to kind of listen to, especially like in more intense situations, like not necessarily that it'll escalate to something physical, but that I know it's just going to be like a really intense day. Or if there's like times that I'm just doubting myself or what I can do in a certain situation. And that's like when I just need to basically wake up and be reminded of who the baloney I am.
A 26-year-old loser without any hair doing a radio show with another idiot who can't decide what gender they are?
Yes.
Fun. I will say I do approve. It's a fun song, and I'll respect almost anything Eminem. Let's be honest. I didn't switch it up for this last one. A good trend with mine has been a lot of angry kind of protesty music. And generally it's angry music, and so for my last song, I went with Burn It by Fever 333. This is another song that I listened to a lot summer of 2020. I will say there's a lot of Fever 333 stuff that, like it's another one of those artists where I could choose almost any one of those songs. Like I thought about doing like Bite Back off their new album, but Burn It is a lot more for me. I also thought about Pray For Me, Prey for me, but because that one has a great bass line too.
Okay,
but
no, right when you said that, I was before you spelled out the letters, I was thinking of, because there was actually a Weeknd song with Kendrick Lamar that was on Black Panther called "Pray For Me," and I was like, wait, what?
No, we're talking the Fever 333 song.
Oh, okay, never mind. But I was gonna say you had my ears perking up for a minute. I was like, wait, what?
I don't listen to The Weeknd. Do you think I have that kind of taste?
Maybe.
You know my music taste is bad.
That's why I'm trying to be a man of culture.
Yeah, with Cult of Personality and Billie Eilish.
Yes.
But yeah, angry protest music. Also, I just want to see Fever 333 in concert. I hear that they have. I've heard they've got crazy shows. I watched they did a virtual they call it a demonstration, a virtual demonstration show, summer 2020. I forget exactly when, but I ended up watching that, and it was like there was just the three guys in a room because COVID, and that show that hit. Like they're in a room but they still went for it. So I want to see what they can do live with the crowd hyping them because there's such a difference.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, there were quite a few bands and artists that tried doing like virtual shows, especially when the Pandini was at its rage, pretty much. Like you had the Fever 333 show. You had ironically Billie Eilish trying to do a virtual show, which actually wasn't that bad. Corey Taylor kind of did the same thing where you could do where they were doing like virtual shows with the video walls and such. And I mean, it was an interesting concept, but honestly, like nothing beats live crowds, in a packed arena or a club or wherever the show is.
And that's also like my personal experience because I used to be a guitarist for a church worship band. Ironic because I'm an atheist, but I was doing that mainly because they needed someone and I was there. And it's when you have a crowd there, even if you're playing. I'm honestly not a fan of worship music. If you are, that's your taste. I just really don't like it. I was just doing the guitar thing and. The crowd there helps hype you up. Whereas when COVID hit, I know we did a few online services, and it wasn't quite the same.
Oh, no. I mean, I remember, like, friends of mine, like, I would see, like, on their Insta feeds that they would, hop into, like, the virtual church gathering. And it was always just kind of weird because there is that, like, disconnect between or any kind of public event that you go to, whether it's like a public speaking event or a concert or a church service, like the virtual aspect, I mean, it's convenient, especially given the Pandini, but at the same time, that some people can get past that disconnect and others can't. Like I work from home and I've been working from home pretty much since this thing began. I've done 2 jobs from home and I've literally never, and this where I'm at right now, I've literally never met any of my coworkers in person except for one, and that was because I bumped into her at Juice.
I will say the nice thing about the Panini, I was also a lighting tech for the church, and we would occasionally get complaints from some of the older crowd about the lights being too bright or too distracting. Also, there was a thing with trying to light nicely for in-person, but also for the cameras and yada yada. Honestly, when we were just doing cameras, it was so easy and it was fun. And there was no one there to complain, which that was my personal thing. It's just like, I just want to run the lights. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We should get back on. We're talking about our hype music and stuff. Rating your playlists. Oh, let's see how. I mean, 115. That's a great one. Also, you had some Eminem on there, catchy. You had some Motorhead, which again, rip
Lemmy, the baddest man who ever lived.
But then again, you also had Cult of Personality, and I feel like for
that's a great song.
I've got to give you a 6 out of 10. If you didn't have Cult of Personality, it would have been closer to like an 8 or a 9. But no, because of the Cult of Personality, you're at a 6.
Okay. So with yours, I'm actually probably going to go with an 8 just because mostly you had no, not a cop out, but mostly I mean I liked the definitely the heavier stuff. You had your Fever 333, you had your OTEP. The K-pop was definitely kind of a different palette, but I mean I get it. If it gets somebody hyped up, that works. Like one of my friends, like I mentioned, a couple of friends of mine, but she'll get hyped up like listening to like the Beatles or Elton John or Katy Perry, and then I'm the polar opposite. I'm just like, oh no, throw on some Motorhead, throw on some Killswitch Engage, and I'm gonna get pumped up real quick.
And for me, it is a difference where like I'm doing like the OTEP or the Slipknot, where I'm going into a pit, or I'm hyping up for the fictional fight. Whereas like the K-pop stuff, and I've got a lot of other like hyperpop and stuff. It's more like this is the happy music time. It's like this is the slightly perk you up music because there's like all those song stats like X amount of your music is angry or depressing, or X amount of your music is energetic. It's like wow. Apparently I don't have a lot of happy music. according to those things that I listen to.
Yeah, no, like on my stat sheet, it always says like intense.
Oh yeah, it's intense. Like most of my music is energetic or of higher BPMs or louder stuff, which is funny because like, oh, I'm just relaxing. Like, oh, they're screaming, but I'm just chilling, relaxing. But you got the certain ones that hype you up. I was looking for some Violet Pony. Like if I was to throw a Violet Pony song, I'd probably throw "I Was Afraid." That one's just really good. It's got some fun beat stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of songs for hype music, but we're trying to keep these lists a tad shorter. So,
very true, very true. Woo!
So we got a 6 out of 10, asterisk because of the cult of personality.
I knew that was going to happen.
Listen, I may have bad music taste, but I've got better music taste than you.
So you say.
Also, we got to do another one of these next week. We should figure out what we're doing.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll get that part figured out.
Anyway, I think Jeff's going to be coming in. I believe he has a friend he's interviewing.
Yep.
So that's happening supposedly from 6 to 9, although I haven't seen Jeff.
Alrighty, but that'll be it. That's our show for today. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Stay tuned for the Jeff Show. I'm pretty sure that's what he calls it.
The Jeff Show.
The Jeff Show. I'm sure he's got an amazing show planned for you all tonight. This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. We're going to be leaving you here also with a little Lord of the Rings reference because we're getting that great show, hopefully great show on Prime Video here soon. But here we have Icy Fire by Ed Sheeran here on AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be.
Joshy Washy.